Do you feel like that no matter what you do, happiness is just out of reach? In today's video, I'm sharing 3 life-changing secrets that can transform your life forever. Now, these aren't just feel-good tips. They're actually backed by research and people who have actually used these tips. So real-life stories, and they've made a genuine impact on their life. Ready to unlock the secrets to a happier, more fulfilling life? Let's dive in and start your journey today. Good morning, sunshine. It's morning somewhere. I'm Dr. Isabella Grace, and I've dedicated my career to researching the factors that most impact our overall health. So these are things like stress, anxiety, depression, addiction, and a whole lot more. Now, through my extensive research, I've discovered something truly transformative: the power of positive thinking. And today, I am excited to share with you 3 science-backed tips that can change your life forever. Now, let's dive in and start your journey to a brighter, more positive future. The first tip: practicing gratitude. I know you've heard this one before, and if you've checked out my other videos, you know I actually made a video on this. But let me explain why it's more than just a feel-good exercise, because studies have shown that when you take a few minutes each day, this can be as small as a minute to 5 minutes, to reflect on what you're grateful for, you're not just boosting your mood, you're literally changing your brain. Gratitude triggers the release of dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good chemical in our brain, and it helps us stay motivated and build stronger relationships. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because dopamine isn't just about making you feel good. It plays a key role in reinforcing behaviors by linking them to rewards, which is why gratitude is such a powerful practice. But there's more, because dopamine also interacts with areas of your brain like the hippocampus. Now, the hippocampus is involved in when people are feeling stress or anxiety. And a lot of those feelings happen when people aren't satisfied in their life and they're not feeling happy. So the reason I'm telling you about the hippocampus is because it is involved in memory formation. Also, the prefrontal cortex, it's also crucial for decision making and self-control. So by practicing gratitude, you're not only boosting your mood, but you're enhancing your memory and your ability to make better decisions under stress. And let's be real, there are many situations that happen around us that make us feel like we're always falling short, not quite able to reach that complete happiness, for example. But one in particular is having a growing impact on our overall mental health: social media. It has this sneaky way of making us feel like we're always falling short, one way or the other. We're constantly bombarded with images of other people and their perfect lives, and it's really easy to get caught up in this comparison game. But here's the thing: when you focus on what you're grateful for, you're shifting your attention from what you think you lack to what you actually have. So it's a good example to help you understand how gratefulness and gratitude work. It's like hitting a reset button on your mindset. So the next time you catch yourself scrolling and feeling down, take a moment to pause, put your phone down, and instead think about a few things in your life that genuinely make you happy. And it doesn't have to be social media. Just the next time you find yourself feeling down, take a moment to pause. It might sound simple, but trust me, it can really change the way you see things. Now, for me, this habit started during a really tough time in my life. I was feeling overwhelmed. I really didn't know how to start anything. But each night, I'd jot down 3 things that went right that day, no matter how small. And over time, it was like my brain started searching for the good in everything. And that's when I began to realize the power of positivity, the power of gratitude, and that's when things began to change. Now let's talk about reframing, because this is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shift your mindset. Reframing is all about changing the way you interpret situations. Let me explain. The science behind it is clear. When you reframe a negative situation, your brain activates pathways that help you handle stress more effectively and improve problem solving skills. So, let me share a story with you that might resonate with you. So, I want you to imagine that you've just had the worst day possible at work. You were criticized in a meeting, you missed a deadline, and by the time you got home, you felt completely defeated. Now, it's easy to see a day like this as a total loss, right? But here's where reframing comes in. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you could reframe that situation by focusing on, well, what did you learn from it? Maybe the criticism highlighted an area where you can improve, or maybe it highlighted a particular colleague or something that you could reframe your work relationship with. Or maybe missing that deadline taught you to manage time differently. But seeing the day as a learning experience rather than a failure, you actually have turned a negative into an opportunity for growth. And you can apply this scenario to any situation that makes you feel defeated. We've all had those days. And when you reframe a situation, the change isn't just how you think, it's actually in your brain too. So when you reframe a stressful situation, your brain's amygdala, now that's the area that processes fear and stress, begins to calm down. It's also the area where you start releasing a lot of cortisol and adrenaline during stressful situations. So when you're reframing, you're actually telling your brain's amygdala, let's calm down. And so those hormones begin to calm down. And this shift allows your prefrontal cortex, where you have rational thinking and decision making happening, to take the lead. And by practicing reframing, you're training your brain to react less emotionally and more logically. And that can significantly reduce your stress response and those stress hormones that can have bad physical reaction when they're just hanging out all the time. And then you're going to build resilience. Let me tell you, resilience is important. It's more important than ever in today's fast-paced, ever-changing world. And I mentioned social media earlier, and I'm going to mention it again because we live in a society where information trends and opinions move at lightning speed, especially on social media. Let me give you a statistic. With over 4 billion people worldwide using social platforms, it shouldn't be a surprise that many of us will encounter some sort of criticism online. Maybe you're part of delivering criticism to others. So whether it's a negative comment on a post or that nagging feeling of not measuring up to others, like I mentioned earlier with comparison, it's so easy to let these things get under our skin. But here's where the power of reframing really comes into play. Instead of letting criticism tear you down, try seeing it as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself this: is there something constructive I can take from this? By viewing criticism as a feedback rather than a personal attack, you're not just protecting your mental health, you're actively building resilience. And sometimes resilience will be that you actually remove yourself from the person or the situation, because you also have to protect your energy. And this simple shift in perspective can help you stay strong and keep moving forward, even in the face of online negativity or negativity that you may be experiencing in your day-to-day activities. So the next time you're faced with a difficult day, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And this simple shift can turn obstacles into opportunities, making you more resilient and better equipped to handle life's challenges. Finally, let's talk about celebrating small wins. Neuroscience has shown us that our brains are wired to seek out rewards. And when we only focus on the big goals, we miss out on all the little victories along the way. And here's where it gets really interesting, because by celebrating small wins, you train your brain to stay motivated. So each time you acknowledge progress, dopamine is released. Remember, that's your reward. And it keeps you pushing forward even when the big goal seems so far off. And in today's fast-paced world, especially with the constant barrage of, if you're on social media, you get those highlight reels, and other things going on out in the world, it's easy to feel like you're not doing enough and you're not achieving enough quickly enough. But here's the thing, those small wins add up. And by celebrating them, you're not only keeping yourself motivated, but you're also reinforcing the neural pathways in your brain that help you stay on track. So instead of comparing yourself to someone else's big achievements, focus on your own journey and give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for the progress you're making, no matter how small. There was a time in my life when I struggled, particularly with depression, and it was about 2.5 years. And during that period, even the simplest task felt overwhelming to me. And the idea of getting better seemed like an impossible goal. I couldn't even make decisions. But one of the most important things I learned on my path to healing was the power of celebrating small milestones. And those milestones could have been just getting out of bed on a tough day or completing a very small task that I'd been avoiding. These small victories became like my lifeline. They kept my spirits up and they helped me maintain momentum, even when I felt like the journey was just endless and I was never going to get through it. But celebrating those little wins reminded me that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. And it's not just about feeling good, because celebrating small wins is actually strengthening the neural connections in your brain, particularly in the hippocampus, which is involved in learning and memory. And this dopamine that's happening, this expression of it, the reinforcement is making it easier for you to stay on track and keep moving forward, even in the face of obstacles. Now, it was during this time of celebrating small wins, and trust me, it was a struggle, but I had to celebrate those small wins. I created something for myself that was really my lifeline. And then I decided that I needed to share that with the public, because if it helped me, it just might help you. So if you're looking for a way to put these tips into practice, it's my shadow work journal that I created, and it's designed specifically for people who are experiencing things like that, people like us, those who are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. It's a space where you can explore your thoughts, you can challenge your mindset, and of course, you can celebrate the small wins. So if you're interested, there's a link below where you can learn more. Now, these tips, practicing gratitude, reframing your situation, celebrating your small wins, they're not just theories, they're actually practical, science-backed strategies. I've used them, many people have used them, and they can truly change your life. I've seen them work in my own life, and I know that they can work for you too. Remember, it isn't going to be about making big changes overnight. Start small, but just start and watch how these practices can transform your mindset and your life. I am an actual testament to that, because had I not done those things, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have started this channel, because I want to share these things with you. I want you to experience the healing that I've experienced. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one small win you can celebrate today? Drop it in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with someone you think may need it, and subscribe, because we're all in this together, and I'm so glad you're here. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Love you all.